thought I'd pick that one up. Again, if anybody wants to tell me anything about this, I'd be happy to hear. But yeah, we'll be looking forward to spinning that and giving that a listen. Okay, so moving on. Also on CBS, I picked up this one, which is A Study in Frustration, and this is the Fletcher Henderson story. And it's called The Thesaurus of Classic Jazz. So I have no idea what this is. This was a complete blind buy. So I don't know whether this is just spoken stuff, narration, or whether this is actual songs going through a sort of retrospective. I have no idea at all. Knew nothing about this. It has these notes attached to it. And this is record. It looks like this. Oh, I see. Looks like there was 4 records in this series, and this one's volume 3. So I guess potentially I need to pick up the other 3. So, but it looks like a kind of a jazz retrospective. But hopefully there's going to be some music on this as well as narration. So yeah, when did this come out? Doesn't look like there's a year on this. It's a UK issue anyway, so but I don't know. That one's all a bit strange to me. So anyway, I'll leave that one. Okay, next one was an upgrade. Yada yada yada. Yeah, David Essex's debut. Rock On. Love early David Essex. This was a much nicer copy than the one I had. And lo and behold, it's on CBS again. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, anybody, anybody thinking David Essex just a pin-up boy, he's a great artist in his own right. Very talented, writes his own music and lyrics, and yeah, great songs on this. The title track "Rock On," which I think was his first hit, and the wonderful "Lamplight" as well. Yeah, this is a real cheapie, quid, whatever, worth picking up. Okay, another one. Yeah, I see this record all the time, but this was in really, really nice condition. And this is the Eurythmics 1983, 84, I think. This is Touch. I think this was the one that came after Sweet Dreams. Yeah, I like early Eurythmics. Always pick them up from time to time when I find them in nice condition. It's got Here Comes the Rain again, which I really like. Right by Your Side. Who's That Girl? All great singles, Annie there. With a mask on. Looking mean and tough. So yeah, happy to pick that one. Okay, next one was a real, very, very pleased to pick this one up. I've had this on my want list for a long time. I've seen some of you show this in the VC and been very, very envious. So when Ben sent me a photo of this, I was absolutely delighted. This is the Gees Odessa. This is the 1969, I don't know, would you call it a concept album? I don't know, but the music on it and the songs are superb anyway. So I've been streaming this for probably 2 or 3 years, really enjoy it. It's an original on this kind of flock cover, which I believe they only produced for a short period of time, because I think that people in the factory that were producing it were coming out with a kind of allergic reaction. So you can see it's a little bit of wear there and ring wear. There's also, you can see there, I think that's where it was obviously kept in a record rack. Those that remember those record racks from the 1970s. So yeah, but this is even better. This is a US white label promo copy on that Atco label. For some reason, some of the credits there have been blanked out. I don't know why, but yeah, in really nice condition. But yeah, I got this for a really, really good price. So thank you very much, Ben. Delighted to add that to the Bee Gees collection. Okay, moving on. A few months ago, I'd been trawling through YouTube and came across some comedy videos, and I'd heard of this guy, but wasn't really that familiar with what he'd done. But watched a couple of his concerts and was just absolutely enthralled. And since hearing him, I asked if Ben could find me some copies. He said that he had a friend who had some, and yeah, delighted that he came up with these. This is Jake Thackery. That's a live performance from early 70s, I guess. It's on that EMI 70s EMI label. Yeah, I think that's 1971. Okay, and also got this one, which was his debut album, called The Last Will and Testament of Jake Thackery. So yeah, anyway, so for those that don't know, Jake Thackery was he was a teacher, and originally from Leeds here in the UK, and yeah, quite a tall gentleman, 6'2" tall, and he was an English teacher, and he taught himself to play the guitar, and was very interested in sort of European artists like Jack Brel, sort of very influenced by his style, and he picked up this finger picking style and so on that was amazing. And for the very short period of time that he actually had been playing the guitar, he became incredibly accomplished very, very quickly, much to the amazement of some of the studio artists that accompanied him when he was recording his records. And but he's just got this incredible wit about him, and just writes these wonderfully intelligent, witty, funny songs about that relate to, I guess, Leeds and his home life, but also takes on kind of religion and the world, it's the wider world itself. Just all sorts, anything was a target for him, and he just did it in a very witty, charming way. And yeah, great voice, not a classic singing voice, but a fantastic guitar player, really, really accomplished, which makes, unlike a lot of kind of comedy albums where you hear them a couple of times and then you sort of don't want to kind of hear them again. But yeah, really, really delighted to pick those up, and he actually gave me those for nothing, so I was even happier. So thank you very much, Ben, for those. Yeah, Okay, and then another couple of cheapies here, just some upgrades. That's Making Movies, Dire Straits, yada yada yada. Everybody knows that. This was a really clean copy. Love it for Romeo and Juliet. And then I also picked up, I used to have this at one stage. I don't know what happened to it, but that's Dire Straits' debut. Yeah, obviously you've got the Sultans of Swing on there. Great stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay, the last three are a little bit more left of field. I've kind of been getting into sort of Canterbury stuff quite recently. And this was a band I'd heard of, but not heard their record. And this is Hatfield and North. So this is a kind of jazz, kind of modern jazz, kind of rock fusion album from 1974. This is an original on Virgin. Yeah, this wasn't cheap, but I really enjoyed it. So I had to get a copy. I've never seen it before in the wild, and I don't know whether this is particular. Maybe it's quite hard to come by, but yeah, I was happy to pay up a little bit for this. So, yeah, this has Richard Sinclair on, who I'm not sure. I think he was maybe a member of Caravan. So, but I think this was up until fairly recently. This was one of their only studio albums, and then also there's also speaking of the sort of Canterbury artists, there's Robert Wyatt there from Soft Machine, who was apparently playing some vocals and accompaniment on this album. So yeah, being 74, this must have been just after his accident. But yeah, this is an interesting album. You've also got a group of singers, backing singers on this called the Northettes, and one of those is Barbara Gaskin. I think Barbara Gaskin, wasn't she the one that did "It's My Party" and "I'll Cry If I Want To"? I'm pretty sure that was her from the early 80s. So yeah, well worth picking that up if you see it. But yeah, this was an original. Say it wasn't particularly cheap, but well happy to get it anyway. So okay, next one is one of when I first heard this album back in the 80s, I hated it. I just didn't get it. Just really didn't get this at all. It's one of those classic krautrock artists. But then I heard it about a couple of years ago, and just absolutely blew me away. And thought, what the hell? Why the hell didn't I get this first time around? This is Tago Mago by Can. This is a reissue. So this is a double album from 1971. I think this is their second album. Very experimental, just full. There's all sorts going on this, but I love the first record for side 1 and 2. Those songs with Damo Suzuki doing these wild vocals, Paper House, Mushroom. Oh yeah, I love all those tracks. And then apparently side 2, Hallelujahs, which is this kind of 17-minute jam, was sampled and used by a lot of those kind of Manchester bands in the early 90s. So sort of, happy Mondays and so on. But yeah, I think John Lydon said this was one of his favourite albums as well. So I think it sort of, considering this came out in the kind of prog era, it definitely was an influence on a lot of artists to come for quite considerable time. So yeah, wonderful. Really glad to get that. Okay, and the last one I couldn't resist. I've showed this album before. This is one of my favourite albums of the 60s. This is, I did have an original first pressing of this, but I've played it to death. So when this later issue came up, I had to get it. This is Music in a Doll's House by Family. This is Family's debut album. Um, I, this is just an amazing record. Um, you know, there's so much going on this. This was produced by Dave Mason of Traffic, and there's just all the bells and whistles of the kind of late 60s technology, I think, going on this. Sort of heavy reverb, backwards sound effects, sort of jazz elements. They're playing with rock, sort of strings on it. It's just all over the map. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful record. I've played this dozens of times, and I never ever get sick of it. It always seems to come up with something new every time I listen to it. So, yeah, delighted to get that. This is on the Reprise Records on the Steamboat. So yeah, very happy, delighted to get that. That's it, guys. I've made it. Where are we? 49 minutes. I think this is the longest video I've ever done. So sorry this was so long, but I thought I'd just do it all in one go, get up to date. And yeah, if you've stuck with me, thank you very much. If you haven't, I completely understand. So, but enjoy Halloween, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Looks like we could be heading in for another lockdown here, sadly, in the UK. So, you know, stay safe. Take care, guys. There you go. I'll speak to you real soon. All the best. Bye-bye.